Shalom, everyone. I am the Chief Magician of Mystery Babylon, and welcome to my holy channel. I know that I recently, hid all of my videos, kind of took my channel down, and so you're probably wondering why I've uploaded this video. Well, I'm making one exception. There are no longer any videos on my channel. I recently uploaded the video I did 9 months ago exposing Yirah for the amateur charlatan that he is. And now I'm doing a secondary video where I'm concluding all of the proofs and seals that Yirah is an amateur charlatan Kabbalist or occultist, if we may call it that. So recently, Yirah has really pissed me off. He really pissed the Chief Magician of Mystery Babylon off by basically acting like a little punk bitch and talking shit behind my back and saying a lot of stuff that's just untrue, right? He recently made a comment saying that I'm in the lower mysteries. Well, all of you listening who know me, you know that you have to be pretty fucking stupid and retarded to make such stupid, retarded assertions like that. So as I've said before, Yirah is a amateur charlatan Kabbalist. This is going to be a two-part series where I fully expose him for the amateur charlatan that he is. He's not, as far as I can tell, he's not Jewish. He doesn't know any Hebrew or Aramaic. And if you've noticed, just one quick point I want to make, which we'll get to later, is that if you notice that he's never in any of his videos does he say any Hebrew praises, nor does he properly speak Hebrew. He mispronounces Hebrew words left and right, and his Hebrew accent is way off. That's the telltale sign. That's the highest seal and proof that you need that he's an amateur. Because if he was a true Jewish Mechabel, he would be fluent in Hebrew and Aramaic. He would have a proper Hebrew accent, and he wouldn't be mispronouncing Hebrew words left and right, and he would be on spot with the Nikudim, which he is not, which is just a really high proof and seal. He knows no Hebrew. He's not fluent in Hebrew. He can't even speak Hebrew properly, for crying out loud. Now, if you're a true Jew like me and you know Hebrew, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is going to be a two-part series. Now, in the first part, I have one of my disciples. He's been a disciple of mine for a very long time. Goes by the name Cohen. He's a Korean. He's a very good, humble Zaddik. And he's very beloved among my, inner circle. And so what happened was, I think, soon after I met Yirah, he met Yirah as well. He was introduced to Yirah, or Yirah introduced himself to him. And they began, a friendship. And, they got involved very deeply. And what ended up happening was that Yirah wanted to basically become a disciple of Yirah. At the time, I was like, okay, Cohen, that's fine. You can do that. And then, a few months after, he ended up becoming a disciple of Yirah, which I was okay with because I felt, that, my group was too advanced for him at the time. I said, that's fine. And then me and Yirah got in a huge argument. And then Cohen became very confused as to what to do. And I told him, if you want to continue to be a disciple of Yirah, I said, that's fine, but be careful. I gave him a lot of warnings about Yirah because at that point I knew exactly the level that Yirah was at. I knew he was an amateur charlatan. So I just heavily warned Cohen, hey, be careful, watch out, and just be very careful and watch out. And so I just warned him very heavily. And so I have Cohen with me, and I want him to give his side of the story because very recently, many tragedies have befallen Cohen as a result of his relationship with Yirah. And so Cohen is going to help me in truly exposing the amateur charlatan and very bad person that Yirah is. He's not just an amateur charlatan Kabbalist, but he's very immature. He has ego problems. He's a liar. He's a deceiver. I mean, the list goes on. Yirah is just a very, very bad character, and his entire bad character is going to be exposed now through this one disciple of mine, Cohen, who has gotten to know Yirah very well by living with him for the past year or so. So, Cohen, can you introduce yourself and give your side of the story of what recently has transpired between you and Yirah and how he has hurt you so badly?
Okay, yeah. Well, it was about around the time of the first exposure of the coronavirus in China that I started having just before that, a little bit before that, I started having complications with you, the Chief Magician of Mystery Babylon. And it was in these convocations that I had my first convocation with you, and the second convocation, a person by the name of Yirah shows up, and he starts showing me a bunch of manuscripts, and he basically tells me I'm gonna redeem like hundreds of thousands of sparks. Like basically the angels told him that I'm gonna redeem like hundreds of thousands of sparks, just based on my picture alone. He gave like an exacting number as well, and mind you, like position in my life that I'm in right now is a pretty hard one. It's a pretty tough one, and he basically had his fiance as well, and his fiance, she calls herself Rose, but her real name is Rachel Johnson, and she hates it when people call her Rachel, but that's her real name. And they basically started to connect with me and started asking me questions and things like that. And they started to ask about my situation and things like that. And they said that they wanted to help me. And they wanted to help me out of my situation. So I obliged, and I was like, okay, so then what do I gotta do? And at that time, I was thinking about, should I go to school? Should I go to military? Because I gotta get my life together. And so Yirah kept demanding that I make pictures for, I don't even know what it was, which I find out later to be his first book, Sefer Yirah. So I am mentioned in the book. I don't know if he's removed me from the book. I don't know, but I am mentioned in the book as Cohen Parks with an S. And I am the digitizer. I helped digitize his book, so all the pictures and the drawings that you see of the Sephiroth and things like that, I did using my computer. I also helped him make his very first video, basically that the whole Aleph separates man from Shin, in the beginning was the Word. His very first video on his channel, Restoration of the Breach. And basically, their modus operandi that Yirah works with is it's a narcissistic bent. So in other words, he does not care about your suffering. He does not care about it's very Machiavellian. So the end justifies the means. So he's so determined to bring the word out that through any means of suffering and causing fear and causing terror in a person, that he's willing to degrade them as such. And that's what he did to me. I developed a relationship with him, and he started teaching me Zohar and really cool things in the Zohar and things like that. And eventually his disciple, basically, his name is Scott Stewart. He basically yelled and screamed at me and said that, he basically said that I'm supposed to come down and see them. And Yirah himself, he does have a level of Kabbalah to him, but his disciples are about as smart as bags of rocks. You know what I mean? They're just Scott is just he's just a foul-mouthed, crooked, disgusting person, and he's telling me that I have to go there. During the wildfire, I donated at least $4,000 to them, and I found out later they used that on like basically nothing, and then eventually when I got to the United States, the week before I left the United States, because I spent 3 months with them, Rachel Johnson stole uh, basically another 1,000 out of my credit card. So that's even before I landed in the country. So that's and all of her pictures are fake. Like basically she in her own mind she thinks she's pretty, that she's the shit and all this stuff, but in reality she's really like not just on the outside but also in the inside. She's a narcissistic monster, just like her mother. She says her mother was a fat and abusive person. Well, she's also a fat and abusive person. So I don't even know anymore. So
I want to put things into context. So for everyone listening, Cohen is from Canada, so he's not he's not from the United States. He's actually from Canada. And so I just want to reinforce these points here, right? So we have to understand that, right before Cohen went to go live with Yirah, Cohen was at a very critical point in his life. Okay, he was at an extremely low point in his life. He was at a very critical stage in his life where he needed to determine, okay, what are the next step? What are the next critical steps that I need to take in my life to get my life together and to make my life to be successful and to get my life together? Because right now I'm at the lowest point in my life, and everything around me is shit, and I'm in a really bad state. And that's the state that Cohen was in before he before he moved in with Yirah. And now what Cohen is telling us is that Yirah took $4,000 of that. Cohen he's such a good-hearted man that he ended up donating $4,000 to Cohen and Rose, and they basically squandered his money. And then on top of that, Rachel Johnson has the audacity to basically use Cohen's credit card behind his back and steal an additional $1,000 from him as he's leaving back to Canada. How evil is that? Now, here's another point I want to make. Now, it's my understanding, Cohen, that Yirah and Rachel are not married. Is that correct?
well, Yira and Rachel are they're not married. They're fiance, and Rachel is she's a pathological liar. So basically, she believes that Yira is the reincarnation of Tepes, which would be Vlad the Impaler, and she believes that she's also the reincarnation of Vlad the Impaler's wife. So she has all these different personas. She'll call herself Rose. She'll call herself Saphira. She'll call herself Luna, but she will not call herself Rachel. And the reason why she has all these aliases is because she doesn't want anyone to know her real name. Because in reality, they're trying to move into a new place, but they can't because Rachel has a previous problem with stealing from another person's credit card. And not just that, but I mean, out of state, if you go down to Cali, in California, basically Yita's dodging child support. He has a daughter down there. He's dodging child support, so he's not paying his child support down in Cali. So he dipped off into Oregon, and it's really bad. And I witnessed all of it. And Scott is basically a cheerleader in the corner, just clapping and praising and worshiping Yida as God in the flesh. And it's that the house that I went to, Chief, the state that it was in. I mean, I understand, Rachel being the only woman there, but she did jack shit. She sits on her ass, does nothing, steals people's money. And there was like literally a tapeworm at the bottom of the fucking fridge. I kid you not.
So if I understand correctly, Cohen, they basically live in squalor. They're basically poor and they live in squalor.
Well, the thing is, they live in Section 8 with Scott, right? So not just that, they're totally taking advantage of Scott, who's just batshit crazy. Scott thinks that Yida is God in the flesh,
And this is
worships.
yeah, and I just wanna briefly stop you here, Cohen. So people, we need to put things in the context here, okay? I've had Scott, who's a troll, come to my channel and make really stupid, asinine, retarded comments praising Yirah like he is God in the flesh. If you've seen his comments to my videos, and he says really stupid shit, and I've had to tell him like your Yirah, who's your master, he's your Robin master, doesn't know Hebrew, doesn't know Aramaic. It's more than fucking evident. And what Kabbalistic works has he translated? What works has he? I've translated over 5 of the most ancient esoteric texts, in Judaism, something no one has ever done before me. I'm the first. What I've done in the Kabbalah has never been done before me in the past 2,000 years. What are Yirah's credentials and what are his qualifications? He has none. Okay, now we need to put things. We need to really put things in the context here. Okay, Cohen infiltrated Yirah's camp. Okay, my disciple Cohen infiltrated Yirah's camp, knows where he lives. We know Yirah's real name. We know his full address. We know his wife's real name. We know their address, where they live. We know everything about them because Cohen lived with them for a year and completely infiltrated.
3 months. 3 months. 3 months.
Exactly. What we are revealing to you, fellow listeners, is not made up shit. It's not coming out of our ass. It is nothing but pure factual assertions by somebody who actually lived with Yirah and his family for over 3 months, okay? These are factual assertions. They can be proven. We're giving you all of the proofs and seals that Yirah is an amateur charlatan. He is a fraud. He is a deceiver. He is a very, very, very bad character. Please continue, Cohen.
Well, I mean, even the Zohar volumes that I got for him and his disciples, basically, like, I pointed them out to him. So on Lag BaOmer, they were giving away a bunch of Zohars for free, just paid shipping. And I was the one that helped get them their Zohars. You know what I mean? Like, I just helped them every step of the way. I helped them financially with the $4,000 during the wildfire, mind you, which Rachel totally took advantage of me, and my desire to be of service to the planet, and basically after I gave her $2,000, she asked for more. Shortly, like a week after, she asked for more. I was like, I just gave you $2,000. So then I sent her another $2,000 because I was pretty sure that people were getting kicked out of their homes and things like that because of the wildfire and things like that. But in reality, they pocketed all the money for themselves, and they spent it on weed and booze and a whole bunch of bullshit like that. It's tragedy for me because I lost everything. I lost a year of my life. I could have been going to school during this time. I could have used that money for tuition. I could have used that to straighten my life out, but I can't get that back. Basically, Yirah would ask me to make a whole bunch of things. He wouldn't tell me for what, and so I helped him make Sefer Yirah, the Book of Awe, the Book of Fear, if you will, and he has no desire to pay me whatsoever for any of my services, for anything that I did to help him digitize any of his works, or anything like that, or anything he told me to draw. In fact, I have a part, everything that's in there that's not a photo taken, is my work. Like, basically, yeah, everything that is drawn using a computer is what I drew. And he basically used me to get his book finished, and as a result of that, he got his book finished, and he was like, oh yeah, I'll get you another copy of the brand new one or whatever it is. And he gave me a flimsy paper copy. He didn't even give me like a normal copy. He gave me a defective copy, and I was the one that actually worked on the work. Do you know what I mean? And I was kind of choked that he gave me a paper copy. And so, in other words, he cheaped out on my copy.
I mean, this is just People, this just goes to show what an extremely bad character is. Yirah is a manipulator. He's a deceiver. I'll give you an example, right? So there are 3 esoteric works that Yirah has tried to display on his channel, right? So the first point is that there are no real super advanced esoteric teachings on his channel. 90% of all of his teachings are on the Zohar. The reason for that is very simple, because he's not fluent in Hebrew and Aramaic. He has not read or mastered any of the other esoteric Kabbalistic works. Now, there are 3 works that he likes to show off on his channel, very esoteric works. Sha'ar Ruach HaKodesh by Chaim Vital, Sefer Mek HaMelech, and maybe A Time, I think. But I think those are the 2 main ones. Now, here's the thing. He's never read Sefer Mek HaMelech. He can't read that book. Okay? When he goes on his channel and he shows you the Hebrew, this is the only Hebrew that Yirah knows. He knows the Hebrew word for gematria, he knows the Hebrew word for nikud, and he knows the Hebrew word of some angels. That's all he knows. So he'll go into books and he'll show you, look at the names of angels in the book, because that's all he knows. He's never done a video where he's fully translating really deep inside the book, like real deep pages inside of these books, because he can't. Now, these 3 esoteric works that he likes to show off on his channel, the only reason he knows about them is because I showed them to him. Now, there are even higher, more advanced, most esoteric works besides that he has no fucking clue or idea about. Guess what? Guess why? Because I never told him everything. All I mentioned to him was these 2 esoteric works, and he went and got them, and now he shows them off, but he's never read them. He's never mastered them. He skims through the pages to try to find, names of angels through, and then try to show off, like, oh, look, the names of angels in the books here and there, because that's all he fucking knows. So the problem is that everyone, because all of you listening, the vast majority of you listening are very ignorant, uninitiated, you don't know any better. So you think he's like, oh, he must be a high master, because look at this esoteric book that he's showing off, and he just read the names of angels there, and he read the word gematria, and he read the Hebrew word nikud. Oh, wow, he must know Hebrew. He must have read these books. Because he's deceived you. All of you that go to his channel and watch his teachings, and you think he's this high, mighty rod, you're fucking gullible. You are so easily fucking gullible. You have no spiritual discernment. You're a fucking joke. It's really sad. And it's even more sad that I have to do a video like this, having to fucking expose them. It's really sad that I have to do this video to expose them, because 99% of you have no fucking clue or idea what's going on behind the scenes, have not one iota of spiritual discernment to be able to properly spiritually discern what a fucking deceiving amateur charlatan Yirah is. It's really fucking sad. And one last one I want to make. How many disciples did Yirah have? My understanding, Cohen, is he only had 2 disciples at most. That retarded, crippled Scott and you. Is that correct?
He has Scott, and he has the 2 kids of Scott. So Scott has 2 boys, and unfortunately, they're stuck with Scott. And Scott doesn't let them go to school. And basically, they worship Yirah as God in the flesh. And
so here's one more question, Cohen. Do they smoke weed? Are they smoking weed in that house? Does the Yirah smoke weed?
Yirah's smoking weed constantly.
That's another telltale sign. You've noticed that if you watch his videos, he always likes to make reference to a bong. Why is he always bringing up the word bong when he's talking about the mysteries, as if he smokes weed? Bong is a term that's only used for people who smoke weed and things of that nature, because he smokes weed. Now, smoking weed is not of God. That is the devil's grass. Okay? If you don't know that weed is the devil's grass, you're a fucking idiot. You have no spiritual discernment, okay? Weed is the devil's grass. If you smoke weed, you are spiritually impurifying your neshama. That is not of Hashem. True tzaddikim, true mekabalim do not smoke weed, period. That is the highest proof and seal that all you need to know that this guy is not a true tzaddik. He's a charlatan. He's a deceiver. You might as well just say he's an evil bad guy, okay? He's no different than those Christian pastors you see on TV that like to show off, like, look at me, I'm holy. The Holy Bible is next to me. I have a nice suit on. It's all image. It's all show. There's no true spirituality. It's like Yeshua said, that you've taken all this time to make the outside look all nice and beautiful, and the inside is fucking dirty and shitty. That's Yirah. The outside, he's crafted this image to make himself look like a high true Rob Mechabel, and he's not. Deep down inside, he's a fraud. He's a charlatan. Okay? That's what he is. Okay? No different than those multi-million-dollar Christian pastors that you see on TV trying to get millions of dollars of donations to be squandered, okay, from the kingdom of Hashem.
You'll notice on his TikTok that he basically, what he did was he tried to take a clout generator. So basically something that would create enough fame to then elevate his TikTok channel so that he can make money off the TikTok channel, so he can gain subscribers. So what he did was he took Baron Edmund de Rothschild off of my page, mind you, my Facebook page. He took Baron Edmund de Rothschild off of my Facebook page, which I showed him. And so when Baron Edmund de Rothschild was threatening, you know, basically to nuke the United States, etc., on the TikTok, he basically took that off of me. He then posted it to his TikTok so he can generate clout for his channel.
And by the way, let me just put things in the context, right? We're not speaking about the true Baron de Rothschild. We're not speaking of this is a fraudulent. This is another fraudulent charlatan person posing as the Baron de Rothschild on Facebook. Because Yirah is so fucking gullible. Yirah is so fucking gullible and stupid. He actually thinks that this guy on Facebook is actually a true Rothschild. He's not. I got news for you. He's not. Yirah's too fucking stupid to realize it, and so now he's trying to use that as part of his facade and false image.
Whether he is or not, he's saying that this Baron put up $1 billion for him to teach him the word, so to speak, on one of his live streams. So whether he is or not, it doesn't matter. Like, the fact of the matter is he's clout chasing. On top, so in other words, he's taking something like someone saying, I'm going to nuke the United States, using that to promote Torah and to promote, just so he can gain fame for himself. So in other words, all of his actions, they're not like, they're to honor himself. They're not to honor who, like, you're supposed to be honoring, which is Hashem. So it's to honor himself. He only brings honor to himself. His fiance Rachel is the same. And when Rachel stole from me, basically he did nothing to reprimand her. And literally, like, she's the worst. She, out of every female I've seen on earth, she is the worst of all females I've ever seen on earth. Not just like, I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about the inner personality is just the trashiest, filthiest, foul-mouthed, horrible, lying, manipulative, narcissistic, sick, psychopathic, sycophantic, just everything foul and disgusting. And all of her pictures, I can tell you, every single one of them are fake. And she'll never have a picture where she's actually looking straight in the camera, because it's obvious that she just doesn't have it's all fake. So it's just caked on makeup, wigs, it's horrible. It's the whole thing.
I mean, it was very evident for me to see that her photos were extremely photoshopped, that she's using makeup and wigs. I mean, for me personally, with my level of discernment, the moment I saw her photos and things like that, I was immediately, I immediately recognized that they were very faked.
I even bought her. I bought her a light and a blender, like, so that she can eat healthy and so that she can take good pictures.
Because everyone, Cohen is very look at how good-hearted Cohen is. Now, this is why I'm always talking about how fucking stupid and retarded the goyim and the masses are, because they're looking it up. Everything that Yirah has to offer, all of you, and I know most of you listening, I know there a lot of you listening are just like our stupid goyim. You're looking it up. You're eating everything that Yirah's having to offer, his entire facade. You're eating it up. You're looking it up like a stupid fucking goy. You have no spiritual discernment. You just look at all the millions of Christians that are deceived by these mega million church pastors. All you have to do is look at all the millions of stupid Christians, goyim, and how gullible and easily deceived they are by the mega million churches and the mega million church pastors. And Yirah is in that same exact domain, doing the same exact similar stuff. And I see all the stupid people that go to his channel, go to his TikTok, and they prove my point, how fucking stupid and retarded the goyim are, how gullible the goyim are. And look at how good-hearted Cohen is. This is the travesty, people. What has transpired here? When Cohen came to me and told me all this, I wasn't surprised because I already knew Yirah's true nature and character, and I was really heartbroken. Cohen, please explain to our viewers what a travesty and tragedy has transpired. How did this affect you? Tell us how Yirah's evil actions and his evil character have so horrifically affected you.
Well, I wanted to go down there to get closer to Hashem. But the reality is that I'm really confused about Hashem now. Because they're telling me that, oh, Hashem is a God, light and dark. Okay, well, I get it, but does that mean that you have to be dark all the time? Does that mean you have to be stealing all the time? Does that mean you have to be lying all the time? And where is any semblance of the light in you? I didn't see any of it. When I was down there, I was cooking their meals, I was running their groceries, and at one point I didn't have their card to pay for their groceries because I forgot it, and I left their groceries at the grocery store. And I said, hey, you guys, when you guys get a chance to pick it up, you should go pick it up. They didn't even bother to pick it up. They basically forced me to go pick it up. So not only that, I did their dishes, I did their groceries, I did everything for them. All the things that Rachel said she would do for me, like she would help me do my laundry and things like that, she didn't. Rachel said she's a good cook. She doesn't cook jack shit. She didn't even cook a single ramen while I was down there. I was the one cooking for them. I'm the one that bought them their Thanksgiving meal, which I gave Rachel $150, and she basically came out with a turkey and some bean dip and pocketed the rest. I mean, it's like I can't. Like, I'm trying to help them out because they are poor, and at the same time, like, they're still ripping off of me as much as they possibly can. Had I gone down there with my vehicle and not been turned back by Border Patrol the first time I tried to go see them, they probably would have stole my car. They probably would have said, hey, leave your car in the United States, and yeah, we're gonna just bus you back home or something like that. That's how, like, that's how criminal minded these people are. And I'm devastated because I don't know what to think anymore. I don't know what to like. I got my Bible with me. I got Yeshua. I got Jesus with me. All this Kabbalah stuff that I'm learning, was it for naught? Do you know what I mean? Like, was Kabbalah a complete waste of time? Like, what? Like,
well, no, Cohen, I would say it wasn't. So I think something good that I can say about Yirah is, he does seem to have a passion for the occult, for the Kabbalah and the Zohar. I think that's one good thing that he shows and demonstrates. And, I think that, he does have a good understanding of a lot of the Zohar. And, I feel confident that he was able to impart a lot of that to you during that time, Cohen. I just think that it was very unfortunate that because Yirah, is very immature, he's very evil, has very bad character traits, that kind of is probably what left you confused, and, Yeshua warned us about individuals like Yirah, about charlatans like Yirah, and the punishment in Gehinnom that they're going to assume. Yira, would have conversations with me and my disciples about Gehinom, how bad Gehinom is. Little does he know that Yira is going to have to spend some time in Gehinom for what he has done to Cohen. Yira, if you're listening, if you don't tikkun, if you don't rectify your bad character traits, your evil nature, and you don't rectify all the damage that you have done to Cohen spiritually and physically and financially, you will burn in Gehinom. You will pay a very high price. And Cohen will stand over you in judgment in the afterlife for what you have done to him. Okay? You have completely damaged, okay, Cohen in so many ways. You've completely broken him.
Oh, it's not just Cohen. It's all of his friends. Like I got there on the second day. And on the second day that I was there, basically, they start talking about how their driver doesn't show up. Because, apparently they're supposed to get their money soon and they're supposed to pay their driver. So their driver doesn't show up. Because, it's like closer late at night and he doesn't want to go pick them up. Plus, they're not paying him jack diddly squat to do anything. Yet he's driving them around on his dollar, on his gas, and they're not doing anything for him except making him a promise that they're going to give him money some point later down the road, maybe in the form of millions, which, they're carrot and sticking the driver. They carrot and sticked me. They carrot and sticked their best friend, apparently, who's been doing that for 2 years, who's also been giving them things, whole bunch of perks and like basically free dinners and free lunches, free alcohol, free weed, free and they do nothing to reciprocate anything back because they're so highly narcissistic. They think that they deserve these things to be brought before them. That's how utterly demented and sick these people are.
Yeah,
and during the course of this entire time, there's like 4 of her friends or something that I seen. She all discarded. Rachel discarded all of them. And Yirah doesn't even say a word. He doesn't even care. He has such a lack of empathy that it's staggering. Like almost has no empathy at all. He's a complete psychopath. And
so what I do see, I see definitely psychopathic tendencies within Yirah. Let's review, right? He has psychopathic tendencies. He's most definitely a narcissist. He's very immature, and he has a lot of really bad character traits. Okay, for somebody who's always talking about gather yourself, O Israel, and equalizing the midot, the character traits. I mean, he's a total hypocrite. He's an actual total hypocrite. Like you claim to know these holy mysteries, and yet you don't act. You don't fulfill any of them at all. It's total hypocrisy, and he's gonna be when he dies. And by the way, let me tell all of you, at this point, it would be a good time to tell all of you that I had a very powerful divine vision. About 9 months ago, when I got into when I was very upset with Yirah, where I was shown Yirah completely dead. I saw him in the spirit realm, and he was completely dead in a very bad state. I'm telling you prophetically, very definedly right now, Yirah is going to die soon. He's not going to live very long. And in the afterlife, the judgment that he's going to receive for his evil nature, for his bad character traits, for the people he has hurt and damaged, like my disciple Cohen, you have no idea what's coming to you, Yirah. Listen to me very carefully. Mark my fucking words, Yirah. Mark my fucking words. 1, you don't fuck with me. 2, you have no idea what's fucking coming your way. You have no idea. I saw what's coming your way, Yirah. Hashem, Adonai showed me what's coming your way, Yirah. The judgment that's coming upon you. You have no fucking idea. Watch out. You have no idea. I know what's coming. You're going to be shit-faced. To say that you're going to be weeping and gnashing your teeth doesn't even fucking cut it. I have no words for what's coming to you, Yirah. The spiritual judgment that's coming your way, I have no words for it, Yirah. Godspeed, Yirah. Godspeed.
Yeah, and the thing is, all of the saddest part about this, all of this is real. Basically, I was stuck in 2 different cities because I was turned away at the border, and they didn't care. I sent my money to them during the wildfire. They didn't care. I went to the border during a COVID crisis and BLM, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd incident, just to see Yirah because I thought the Torah was that important to me. The Torah was so important to me that I was willing to do that. And they didn't even bat an eyelid as I went to my friend's place in the city 6 hours north of the border. As I was crying there for a week trying to get into the American embassy 3-4 times. I lost many things in translation there. I lost a lot of items of value because the border guards, well, they confiscated some of my stuff. I even gave them, when I got to the United States, I even gave them a nice gold frame Korean calligraphy that says only Jesus on it in Korean. And Rachel still tried to steal from me. It's disgusting. And Scott, that basically monkey in the corner, does nothing about it. He worships her, calls her the queen. It is the most. And these two kids, I feel so sorry for them because they don't know any other life. They haven't seen people who are wholesome. They haven't seen people who don't have criminal minds. They haven't seen the outside world because they don't go to school. They don't know any better. And they call Yirah basically God in the flesh. And they call Rachel the queen. And Rachel makes them get her groceries while she literally sits on her fat ass and does nothing. She does nothing. She makes her son Aliyah. She says, "Oh, I'm such a good mother." No, she's not a good mother. She turns on the same flipping 50 reruns of We Bears on a YouTube playlist and keeps them in a pen for like forever.
Well, I can tell you, Cohen, that we may need to call DCFS on Scott's children and have them taken away from him because, it just sounds like a total tragedy and travesty. But I mean, I do want to conclude, this video now. I don't want it to go too long. I think we've done more than enough to fully expose Yirah here. And again, this is all real, guys. We're very serious Holy Tzaddikim here. I'm only interested in exposing charlatans and giving you the truth. Some of you really need to wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up, some of you, seriously, and get some spiritual discernment, okay? Seriously, some of you need to hear this, okay?
I can tell you this before you wrap up here. What I felt in that house was not welcoming at all. What I felt was just utter. It was tragedy. It was disrespect. It was insulting. It was degrading. And I can definitely tack it on as the worst experience of my life. And whatever spirituality I did learn from Yirah, okay, I might have gotten a grain out of that, but the fact of the matter is there's too much dark. Everything there is dark. There's not like a hint of light in anything that Yirah is talking about. I mean, it's all judgment, Gevura. You're coming back, as a chicken nugget or this and this and that.
And this just goes to show how gullible and easily deceived people are, right? We have Luciferians in very high places that are very handsome, very well dressed, very wealthy. Their outside appearance is very wholesome, but behind closed doors, they're doing child sacrifice, they're pedophiles, they have they're doing lots of criminal acts, they're stealing. They're the most evil Luciferians, yet on the outside, they deceive everyone with their wholesome, polished image. And Yirah is the same thing. Yirah has this very nice, craftily polished image as a holy Mechabel, when he's the exact opposite. And everyone's falling for it. Like stupid, gullible goyim. Can't, like monkeys they are, can't get a hold of one branch till they get a grip on the next. Some of you seriously need to wake the fuck up. Seriously. Now, I have been doing my best to give as much good advice and good counsel to Cohen. I have one chief disciple who's also tried to help out Cohen as much as possible. I'm going to leave Cohen's email in the description box if that's okay with you, Cohen. So anyone who wants to maybe talk to him, comfort him, give him good advice. If anyone wants to contribute financially to him, to help him out financially, to get his life back on track, you'll be doing some great charity, great tikkun. Cohen is a true tzaddik, a true disciple of Yeshua HaMashiach, a true follower of Yeshua HaMashiach. He's been very, very horribly damaged by this very evil charlatan that Yirah is. And so if anyone wants to, help Cohen financially, talk to him, get to know him, we'll leave an email in the description box so you can get in contact with Cohen and you could help him out in any way. And if you want to, you'd be doing a great tikkun, and service to Hashem, for doing so. Cohen, I pray for you, B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach, that, HaMashiach Yisrael will help you get you back on your feet, get your life back on track, and just start restoring you, 100-fold, because you have a good heart, you have a true good heart. And it's very unfortunate that this evil charlatan, this evil Western Goy occultist that is Yirah, took advantage of you. Yirah he's just another impure, unholy Western Goy. The key word here is Goy occultist. Okay? That's all he is. He's not a true Jew. He's not a Jewish Mechabel. He's a charlatan. He's a Western Goy occultist. Okay? And he's poor. He's a poor Goy who lives in squalor, who is evil, who smokes weed, which is evil, who has psychopathic, narcissistic tendencies. Okay? He's a complete fucking joke, okay, to say the least. Okay? Again, we'll leave an email to Cohen in the description. I hope that some of you will get in contact with him, try to help him out, maybe help him out financially a little bit with whatever you can, help him get back on his feet. Be greatly appreciated. This is part 1. I'll be doing a part 2 where I'll be even further exposing Yirah even more deeply. I'm going to go even deeper in exposing Yirah in the next in part 2. So with that said, I conclude all glory to Yod He Vav He B'Shem HaMashiach Yisrael. Baruch Shem Kebod Malchuto Leolam Wa'ed. Alhamdulillah. Shalom wa Salah.
Salah.